saying good evening to dinner, day 7. It's been quite challenging this week actually, trying to come up with things that are a little bit different, not boring, and that you actually can really cook on a budget. Yeah, it's been quite hard work. Getting up in the morning and think, oh my god, what am I going to do for breakfast? I've got to video it. Oh. And then, what am I going to do for dinner? Again, make sure my phone's charged and everything. Yeah, so it's been a busy week. Probably noticed I've got a bit more used to the whole camera thing. When I started the week, I was very, oh god, I got to stand in the kitchen and talk to myself. But yeah, things are getting a little bit better. Tonight is, this is a major budget meal, and it is so good. It's Italian. We're doing Gnocchi, which basically the main ingredient is potatoes. So I'm gonna go through it. It's mega cheap, really mega cheap, but a little bit long-winded. But it's worth doing because it's so tasty. So, saying that, let's get on with it. So obviously it's creaky camera time because I am going to come down here. Right, basically, obviously it is a bit Blue Peter style here this evening. This is a kilo of potatoes, and they've been baked in the oven. Basically, before I started, with a fork I've pricked them all over, so you've got nice lots of holes. Then I've rubbed salt all over them. Potato can be quite bland, so really sort of like the more salt you can use with them, or you're happy to use with them, the better, and the better flavour you'll get. So they've been in the oven about, possibly about an hour. I've tried to use the smaller ones, so for me they have cooked quicker. They've been out the oven a few minutes, but basically I need to peel them now, and obviously they are a bit warm, so be a bit careful. The reason you oven bake them, it keeps the potato drier. If you boiled them, you'd end up with, at the end, quite a wet mix. And the idea is, you're sort of like making a dough, because they're dumplings, so a dough from potato. And you can actually see the steam still coming off them, possibly. So carefully peel them. And I'm not going to keep them tonight because I have finished up my vegetable stock for this week. But if I had stuff extra today, I probably would keep them and then pop them in my vegetable stock. So like this one's come apart a bit. So I'm just trying to peel it without it falling apart. So you probably don't need me to see me peel all of these. So I'll put you on hold and we'll come back when I'm finished. See you in a minute. Okay, I've peeled the potatoes. Ideally you need to peel them as hot as warm as you can, because you do need to mash them down while they're still warm enough to mash. So I'm just going to mash them down. And some of this recipe does depend on what potatoes you're using. In Spain, they're just random. But Mars Pipers are good. King Edwards are good because they're a little less starchy, I think, rather than too starchy. Whichever way around it is. There's something that I can never remember. Right, okay, so I've mashed them down. Actually, I should do it a little bit more. I just realised I don't have something to mix them with. Just get that. Right, I've pre-weighed out, like I said, we're a bit Blue Peter style tonight because I had time while the potatoes were in the oven. So I got 200 grams of flour and 1 egg, And I'm hoping, obviously, like, you know, holes I put in the potatoes and the salt I've rubbed on, there is quite a, hopefully there's enough salt in there. But I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt, just to be on the safe side. And then I'm going to mix in the flour. Because, in a way, yeah, we're making the dough. So I'm going to mix the flour in. I don't want to mix the egg in too soon, because it will cook rather than acting like a binding ingredient. So the flour is going to cool some of this down. I'm doing a normal plain gnocchi. The sauce will add sort of extra flavour. So the gnocchi is the texture, and that's what's gonna fill you up. So okay, right. So 1 egg. I'm gonna chuck that in, and then give it a good quick mix round. So as you can see already, it's getting a bit harder to mix in. So yeah, it's really simple, but it is a bit long-winded, and I'm saving the costs for a little bit later, because you'll be, I think, so surprised. Okay, right, I've done as much as I can with that. Now it's hands. So again, if you can handle it, if it's still a bit warm for you, I'm using a spoon. But it will come into a nice dough. Right, that's all coming together. Depending on what potatoes you're using, if it's still a bit sticky and a bit soft, by all means, use a bit more flour. But not too much, or else the texture changes. This is not bad. This is different potatoes, I think, from I last used them. Apart from random ones, you don't get much choice. You just get a bag in the shop. So right, so this is a little bit sticky. You can see on my hands. It won't be a problem. I'm gonna get some extra flour out and then just use it on my hands rather than adding extra to the dough. Okay, it looks a lot. Yeah, there's only 2 of us. But believe it or not, this would do us 2 meals easily, and that's if we eat it. So this will actually be a good meal for 4. Or if you're slightly lighter eaters like we are, you probably could stretch it to 6. Okay, so as you can see, we've got quite a nice dough going on here. So to make it easier, I am going to cut it into 4, as it were. I'm just going to put a little bit more flour on the board. And again, you still need to do this when it's warm. Cold potato, it will break. It will just fall apart. So I'm going to roll it into a sausage. Try not to bore you, so I'm trying to do it as quick as I can. Okay. So you see, you're going to get quite a lot out of this. I freeze this when I'm done. So right, so I'm going to do little centimetre cuts, so they're not too big. Then you go through this. If you need to freeze it, lay it out on a baking tray or something so they're individual. Let them freeze and then bag it up afterwards so they won't stick together when you pop them in a bag. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to put a bit more flour on my hands, and this is where you can quickly shape them. It doesn't matter what shape, but I tend to do rounds. One, for me, it's a lot quicker. Okay, I won't go through this whole batch with you because you'll be totally bored. So I've done a few. And the idea is, push them out a bit. You can see okay. And then you can use a spoon, or I'm going to use the back of the knife, and I'll put a little dent in. And this sort of just helps. If it's in the sauce, you can, some of the sauce will just stick to it. You can also use a teaspoon, and you get quite a nice shape with a teaspoon. I actually prefer the teaspoon. So I'm going to carry on like that. So, I could carry on filming and learn how to fast forward. But so I'm going to come back to you guys in a minute. See you soon. So, okay, I've rolled them all out and cut them and shaped them. This tray I'm going to pop in the freezer. Leave it for an hour or so until they are frozen. And then I will put them into food bags. That way they won't they won't get freezer burn. So it's a vegetable, so keep them in the freezer max a month, I suppose. And then here's the little plate I'm going to use tonight. I need to rearrange the kitchen because I need to make some sauce. So again, I'll see you.